Good afternoon, folks. How are we doing today? It is another surprisingly sunny day here in southeast England, which is nice. I don't even want to say the words that summer may be here, but it's trying. It's having a good go at it. My camera is pointing really low. Let me just fix that slightly. There we go. That's generally where I am. I think I've knocked my camera at some point. That's better. How are we all doing? I hope you're well, and I hope the weather is equally pleasant wherever you may be. It's been a lazy weekend in the Bradshaw household. We I wouldn't say we had plans. We thought, it's going to be nice. We should go and do something. But I think we all just needed to recharge the batteries. Surprisingly cloudy in Portugal. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Unless it is a break from many, many very sunny days, in which case, a cloudy day can be quite nice. But I hope the weather is generally quite nice for you. I said we were tempted to go out and do lots of things, but it just kind of didn't happen, which was fine. I mean, the fact is, our little one was okay. She was happy enough, which is, I think that's one of the main reasons we're like, we should get out and do something, is to keep her kind of entertained. But actually, I think she'd had a busy week as well, so she quite wanted to. She was more than happy to, generally kind of be about and do stuff in the house. We did go out a little bit, but we didn't go on, didn't go gallivanting out in the hills or anything like that. She did have on Saturday mornings, which was very sweet. So she's been, she goes to like a ballet class thing. I mean, I was about to kind of say it's not really ballet, but it's kind of ballet. It's certainly very ballet-ish. They're teaching her a lot of really, really good stuff. And she's been doing that for about 6 weeks now, and that's Saturday mornings. And it lasts 40 minutes each time, and parents aren't allowed to be there. Essentially, you drop them off, you go, you come back, which is fine because they're not actually. It's a walkable distance from our house, which is really nice. And this was every 6 weeks when they get to the end of the little block of stuff. Actually, parents can stay and see everything they've done, and she was really good. It was. I mean, she talks a lot. She's got my wife's ADHD. She clearly does, but she is, I think, channeling that into kind of kinesthetically into what she's doing, because there are 3 girls in the class right now. I think it's going to go up to about 5 girls in the class, and she was just, you could just tell that she was listening and taking on board everything that the teacher was saying, which was just wonderful to see. As I said, she's still, interrupts and talks and stuff like that, but actually she's getting better and better, and her posture and stuff is surprisingly good. Pointed toes and all this kind of stuff. So that was really lovely. That was a really, really nice way to start the weekend. And we're so pleased. She did, back when we lived in Scotland, she did like a kind of a dance class and a gymnastics type thing, which I think is a stretch to call what she did there gymnastics. Essentially it was, somewhere between gymnastics and a soft play style thing. But I don't know how much she was actually taking in and listening to what they were saying. She more just kind of wanted to play, which is fine because she was 3 at the time. But now she's really, really enjoying the ballet, which is nice. I mean, not that I'm suggesting that we will make sure that she trains as a dancer, but I think it's good that she's got something she enjoys that is athletic, and I mean, that's it really. I don't want her to kind of be slouching about, and it's good to have a kind of physical exercise hobby. So that's really good, and we're really enjoying it. Which kind of links to, I'm kind of jumping around the stuff I was kind of intending to be talking about on this one, which kind of links to health stuff. I mean, I have been, I'm currently dieting. Essentially, is the thing that kind of sucks of this one. My weight yo-yos a lot. I mean, I have always been, not big, but I'll use the F word, fatter than I would like. Which was always tough for me growing up because my brother is almost 2 years older than me, and he has a very fast metabolism, or historically he's had a very, very fast metabolism, whereas I've had a much slower metabolism. So we could kind of eat the same crap when we were kids, and he wouldn't put on any weight, and I would put it on, which was always kind of rough growing up. And then university, I dieted quite a lot. Well, actually, it was just kind of after university. I mean, this is not healthy at all. I mean, essentially, I had quite a bad mental health period, kind of a depressive period, kind of triggered by a bad breakup, and became a whole thing. And I dieted a lot during that. I mean, it probably wasn't healthy, I'm not going to lie, but it kind of triggered me into the fact that actually I can lose weight. I just need to get out of the bad habits of eating crap. I think it's one of those things that, you know, as an adult, you realize, oh, I can kind of buy what I like. You know, I mean, clearly that's not entirely true, but to the degree that, oh, if you fancy a Mars bar, you can go and get a Mars bar. And during that kind of gloomy mental health period, you know, I was not treating myself to stuff. And I ended up losing quite a reasonable amount of weight. And then, you know, when I came out of the episode, and actually I then started being a lot better with my health when I first moved down from Scotland to Kent. I started going to the gym. I did the paleo diet for a while, which is kind of brutal, but it taught me that I could do that kind of dieting type thing. I lost quite a lot of weight, and I was reasonably happy with where I was. And then I ballooned up again. I mean, and you know, it's one of these things. You know, you get into a happy relationship and you kind of let yourself go quite a bit, and then, you know, jump ahead a bit, and I went up and down and tracked it, and then I got eventually to lockdown, and I said, right, I'm going to do something about this. I've had enough of this. So lockdown, I was really strict on myself. This is the first lockdown, and sorted out my weight, and I was reasonably happy where I was. I didn't get kind of into the exercise thing as much as I would have liked, and that was kind of child related. It's one of those things that I love the idea of, oh, I'm going to do this amount of running and this, that, and the other. But when you have a small child, it's not that you can't, but you need to schedule it well, which can be quite difficult, because either you're putting extra pressure on your partner of, would you mind looking after her while I go for a run for an hour? Or it's, well, I'm going to get up early. I'm going to get up before everyone's up and, you know, do a run or something. Or I'm going to, you know, before I go to bed, I'm going to do a run. And actually, you're very, very tired. So I didn't get into the habit of exercise as much as I would have liked to have. I did a bit, but not as much as I wanted to. I then came out of lockdown and put on the bloody weight again. So I am currently dieting. It's going pretty, you know, it is going well so far. I'm kind of mainly basing it on I'm using some meal replacement stuff, because I was getting into nasty habits of like breakfast, like Nutella and toast and stuff like that. But I'm taking the best of what I've done over the years. So I'm trying to go minimally carby and bulking up my protein instead, you know, with kind of plant-based stuff, and making sure I'm having lots of scrambled eggs and stuff like that, which is really important for me anyway, because I'm vegetarian. I need to make sure I've got a good source of B12. So having eggs regularly is really important for that. And I'm getting there. You know, I've lost about kind of 8-9 pounds already, which is good. It's a really good start. I have a long way to go. And I want to try and make sure that I'm building this into good habits, so that when I stop dieting, I don't immediately go back into the bad habits. Which is one, so that I can maintain my weight, or at least, you know, vary it in a reasonable amount rather than, you know, yo-yo ballooning. But also I want to set a good example for my daughter. I don't want her to think, I'll try and phrase this carefully. I mean, essentially, I don't want to model bad habits for her in terms of what I'm eating. And I know I have in the past, in terms of, you know, I need to make sure that things like, you know, that treats are treats. You know, that was one of the things that meant that when I recently gained weight after lockdown, as I was getting to the habit of I trained myself to expect dessert, which isn't good. You know, I'll have my main meal and then I'll have like a yogurt or a chocolate mousse or a chocolate bar or something like that. And then it got even worse when I was like, well, maybe, you know, I'll have a beer in the evening. and get into that habit of, well, I'm now expecting that I'm going to have a dessert and an alcoholic drink in the evening is not a great habit to get into. So, not that I'm suggesting that my 4-year-old is going to start drinking every evening, but I think as a family, we're trying to get out of the habit of dessert being an expectation and treats should be treats. So I want to, one, make sure that I'm kind of modeling good eating and health and exercise habits for my daughter, but also, train of thoughts just kind of derailed there. So I want to make sure I'm modeling it good, and also I don't want my daughter to kind of think of me as kind of a fat dad, really. I don't know why that bothers me, but it does. I just kind of want to be a good role model for her and do this well, do this properly. But so I'm going. I've got a long way to go, but I'm trying to be good. And because I'm not doing a strict particular diet, I'm just trying to make sure I'm doing a variety of different things. It means I can have little blips and treats here and there. I want to make them the exception, because I know if I start saying, oh, I can treat myself here and there, and I'm not really strict on when I do it, that I will just keep bending that rule more and more. But it means that, if there's a thing at work or a thing with a convention, it means I don't have to go, oh, I can't eat, which kind of is rubbish. So it's a long way to go, and I will keep you vaguely updated on how I'm getting on here, because I think it is good to share this stuff. I think, while I am pretty good at being strict on myself, like I weigh myself and I track it on my phone so I can see how I'm getting on, it is good to talk about this stuff as well, because it makes it real. So if I'm having a blip and going, I was really bad on myself and I put on some weight, then me saying it, I think, is kind of cathartic. But no, I'm doing all right. So we'll see. We will see. What else is going on? Well, it's quite a busy week for a variety of different reasons. So I don't talk about my day job, kind of for obvious reasons, because I do work for quite a big company, and the whole my views being my own type thing. So I don't talk about that really, but exciting things are happening with my day job. I'm still waiting on the specifics, but I'm getting a promotion, which is cool. It's going to be a lot more responsibility, which I'm okay with. It is related to my current role, but focusing on a specific area of it, but across a wider remit. So right now is quite a busy time in that, one, we're nailing down the specifics of when I officially start my new role, but also I'm kind of having to wrap up stuff in my current role and then prepare stuff for the new role, because it's not just going to be a straight swap. There will be a technical time where my line manager changes and all this kind of jazz, but it is going to be a blended sort of transition here. So that's keeping me very busy in my day job. But that's exciting, that really is. So I mean, that would be nice, just in terms of career progression and the like, and also obviously financially it'll be nice. Anything where you get a bit more money is quite nice. So that's keeping me busy during the day. On Thursday, I don't know how this has come around. As I've said before, Thursday is the induction afternoon for my daughter going to her primary school. So she doesn't start until September, because that's where the UK school years start. But it's an induction afternoon where she goes in for like an hour and a half to meet her teacher, and we get to go with her, and then there's like a teddy bears picnic thing. So that's going to be very, very real. But I'm looking forward to that. That will be good. And then Friday, which I'll probably I'll talk about it now. Actually, Friday's the first day of MCM London, which I wasn't planning to be going to, just because out of the conventions I did last year, MCM I enjoyed. I really did, but it wasn't as kind of fulfilling for me as Dragoneet. Dragoneet was better for kind of talking to other indie creators and doing that kind of networking thing, whereas MCM is a lot more big, polished, not corporate, but you know what I mean, the kind of big kind of capitalist flash of the hobby. So I wasn't planning to go, But then what's happening on Friday, and I think I mentioned this before, is Dicebreaker's Creators Summit, which I put my name into the hat for a while back, and then I got an email a couple of months ago saying, yes, you're invited. So that's going to be really... It's going to be good. It's going to be interesting. I'm not entirely sure what to expect. So it's going to be kind of upstairs in the London Excel. So with MCM going on downstairs, there will be a room of, I don't know how many of us, who will be listening to some kind of keynote speakers. And there's a chance for us to network and talk to each other, and we will see where it goes. Business cards will be exchanged, etc., etc. So that's really interesting. I have really not a huge idea what to expect, but I think continuing this journey of me as an independent creator and kind of sole trader, I think it's going to be really useful for me. I think I'll get to meet some people I've not got to meet before. I get to chat a bit more with people I have met or people I've only met digitally. And we'll see what happens. And the plan is, and we do need to book this, that a load of us are going to grab dinner afterwards, which would be quite nice. Again, for the kind of social aspect of getting to know the people we talk to all the time online just a little bit better. That should be really, really nice. So that's happening. I was considering for a little while doing a day at MCM proper, but I'm not going to. And the decision has been made for me now, in that they've sold out for Saturday anyway. And it would just... Again, it was one of those that it was... Were I still in Scotland, right? So let's say if I was still living in Scotland and I'd say flown down or got the train down to London, I maybe would have stayed another day to do MCM. But the fact I live an hour away from London, I'll be going home anyway on the end of the Friday, so it's not a thing. But no, I think it's going to be a really good day. Which kind of brings on the topic generally of conventions and stuff. So Dicebreaker at MCM, which should be a lot of fun. I'm going to be doing Dragoneet again this November, because I thoroughly enjoyed that last year. Yeah, I'm going to try and make sure I'm there for the whole day this time. And try and do more of the kind of seminars and stuff like that, which brings me on to the fact that actually I'm putting together a panel for Dragoneet, which is really cool. I'm not going to go into too much of the specifics on this one in terms of names of people, but I reached out to the people who do Dragoneet. I said, look, are you still looking for people to do panels? Because I'd like to do a panel on writing, designing and playing tabletop RPGs for kids, which is kind of my jam. And they said, yeah, reach out to some people, put together a panel, let us know, give us a blurb and a time and stuff like that, and we can do that. So we have done that. We have a quorum has been formed. There's going to be 5 of us, and I will talk a bit about that closer to the time. But I'm really looking forward to it. I have spoken about Little But Fierce and TTRPGs for kids several times, but largely, other than the little bit when I was at Tabletop Scott a few years ago, it's mostly been stuff like this. So it's been YouTube interviews and Twitch interviews and the like, which I have links to all of such appearances on my website. But that's going to be a lot of fun. I mean, one, I'm glad to be doing it as a kind of face-to-face panel. And it's a good crowd at Dragoneet. I think we'll get a good audience with... so the questions and the Q&A aspect of it, I think, is going to be kind of fulfilling and enlightening, which will be good. And also, I like the fact that I kind of initiated this. It is not my panel. I've been very clear to this with the other people. I said I want it to be our panel. But I like the fact that actually I proposed a panel and it's going to happen. That's going to be good. What else on conventions? I'm hoping to go to Tabletop Scott this year. I didn't go last year because of the move. It was just all a bit much. So I'm hoping to go. That's in September. Essentially, it's logistics right now. It's because they've got a new venue for Tabletop Scott. So Tabletop Scott is right near Edinburgh Airport now, which is great. So that means I could fly up. I could also get the train and then actually get the tram out there. That wouldn't be too bad at all. It's literally just money and logistics, because renting anywhere or hotels near the venue itself are expensive. Ones in central Edinburgh are a bit less expensive, but still expensive. So I just need to look at the practicalities in terms of cost. But I would like to go out to Tabletop Scott. It's a A really great convention, that one. And if you are at all in kind of the northern parts of England or Scotland itself, I would strongly recommend checking out Tabletop Scott. It's a really great crowd who run it, and my experience there was only positive. And now it's actually expanded since the last time I went. When I went last time, it was 2 days, and I was there for one of them. But now they've expanded to 3 days. So I'm looking forward to that. But I just need to figure out if it's practical in terms of the money. Because if it's going to cost me like $1,000 all in to like travel up there and do a hotel for several days, etc., etc., I really can't justify it, which is a shame. But I will try my best. We'll see. But that should be good. What else is going on? Well, honestly, if you follow me anywhere, you will know this already, but I do need to say it. Shought Thorts got released. So after me chatting about this for so long, and I do apologise if I've been boring you with all this. The first episode of Shought Thorts got released last Friday. So this is my let's do the brief spiel on this. So this is my bite-sized interview show with people in the TTRPG and wider gaming industry. It's 10. It's a mixed bag of questions. It's 10 questions. Some are serious, most are silly. And it's designed to be something a little bit different to regular interview shows, both in terms of the content and in terms of the length. I edit it to be strictly 15 minutes or less. Probably in like a kind of 12-15 minute sweet spot. So that if you are watching or listening to it, essentially you can, it's something you can have on while you're having your lunch or your breakfast or your dinner. Or once I have turned it into a podcast format, and that is the plan, it'll be something that you could listen to while walking to the shops or something like that, or walking around Tesco or something, rather than something where you've got to settle in for an hour to listen to it. Not that there's anything wrong with long-form content. Long-form content's great, especially if it is in a podcast form. I mean, that's brilliant for commuting and the like. But I wanted to have the flexibility here of, if you want to enjoy this, kind of little bundle of silliness, it's not something you've got to commit a huge amount of time to, because time is precious. There's way too much content out there. If you're getting, when actual plays are 3, 4, 5 hours a week, I'm not expecting people will find an hour to listen to something of mine, Just kind of accepted that. So this format works really well for me. So that is out. The first episode is out, and I will stick the link in the chat if you have not already seen it. So that is my interview with B. Dave Walters. If you've not watched it yet, please do. I'm really proud of the result. I think it turned out really well. I've got a nice amount of likes on it on YouTube, which is good. I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to be egotistical. Equally, I don't want to be too pessimistic and all that. But it's doing okay. It's not doing fantastically, but it's not sunk like a lead balloon, which is good. I think it's been watched by about kind of 50 people to some degree. It's got 9 likes. That's a good start. For something which could have just completely floundered. I'm pretty happy with this. So if you've not watched it yet, please click the link, watch it once we're done here, have it on in the background, drop me a like, drop me a comment, share it around. That would be wonderful, because it means I get to build a bit of momentum here in terms of followers, and when the next episode drops, there will be more people ready to watch it, which would be good. Let's talk about the people who are going to be on it next. So I've recorded 5 episodes so far, and I think that's how I'm going to do it. I'm going to record 5 episodes, I'll take a break, edit them up, and then once I've taken a couple of weeks off from it, I'll then record some more episodes. Because if I just do this constantly, I'm not going to get anything else done. I'm not going to get any writing done, for example. So they come out fortnightly. So the B. Dave Walters interview was last Friday. And I'll give you the roster for the other 5, which is the first time I'm announcing some of this. So the next episode is going to be 31st of May, so not this Friday, but the Friday after, and that is with Erin Angelini. And they are an absolutely fantastic artist, who I only became aware of last year when I heard them speak at Dragoneet. But they're absolutely fantastic. I'd definitely seen their art around, but I didn't kind of know them as a person. And that's a wonderful chat. I really enjoyed editing that together. So that's 31st of May, Erin Angelini. Then 14th of June is my interview with Taylor Navarro. If you don't follow Taylor, she is just wonderful. She has done... she's written an awful lot of stuff. She's one of these creators where I'm like, how do you have time to do any of this? Added to the fact that she is a mother of 2 young children. I honestly don't know how she has the time. And actually, a lot of her content, she's done 3 indie tabletop RPGs about various elements of parenthood. And they're wonderful. I would strongly recommend checking her out. She is doing brilliant things. And she's bloody 27. I'm nearly 40. It's not great to compare yourself to other people, but when you see someone who's in their late 20s who's just kicking ass, wow, good for you. But she's brilliant. A really good chat. And I'm editing that right now, and it's really hard to get that down to 15 minutes because there's so much gold there. But I'm nearly there. Ooh, the Bulging. Good afternoon, or whatever time it is in your time zone. It's 2:30 for me here. I'll be lurking a bit while painting minis. I'll definitely watch that YouTube interview. Thank you so much. The perfect thing to have on in the background. There is visual, which is just kind of our expressions as we do stuff, but it's kind of just a video podcast. So I hope you enjoy that, and thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. The more people, the better. So when was I at to? Yeah, so Taylor's one is 14th of June. Then 28th of June is Rich of Hatchlings Games, who I've spoken to Rich for ages. I met him briefly at Dragoneet, but him and his wife Catherine run Hatchlings Games, and the product they're probably most known for is they've done 2 books, Inspire Isles and Over Isles. I think they're going to do Under Isles at some point in the next couple of years, and those are fantasy books where sign language is not only part of the world, but it is part of the rules. Signing things is a critical part to the mechanics of that game and the world in general. So I'm a huge fan of everything they're doing, and it was a wonderful chat with Rich. I did make the point on this one. Rich, was he the 3rd or 4th person I interviewed? I can't remember. But I made a point of actually putting him in the running order 4th because Rich looks like me. So Rich is another cis white male with no hair and a beard. And I definitely wanted to make sure, if I'm running, this first batch is 5 interviews, I do not want a carbon copy of me being near the start. I want to make sure that I've got women, I've got non-binary creators, I've got creators of colour. While there is some, people like Rich, I want to give them a platform to be able to share the amazing things they're doing, but actually people who look like me are not top of the list of people who need promotion and signal boosting. So that's why he's 4th on the list. But really good chat, that one. And the last one of this block, 12th of July, is Dr. Emily Friedman, who I am a huge fan of. If you don't follow Emily Friedman on socials, what she's doing is really interesting. So she is an English literature professor who runs a course every year on writing and running tabletop RPGs. Do check out what she's doing. It's absolutely fascinating. And from my point of view, as an ex-teacher still in education in his day job, who also does role-playing game writing, Emily Friedman is perfectly in that Venn diagram of people I wanted to talk to. So looking forward to that one. I haven't edited her interview yet. That's the last one I'm going to do on this. So it's a good run. I'm really pleased with it. And my brain is already going with all the people I want to ask for next time. And I want to get a mixture of, again, diverse creators, but I ideally want to get a mixture of well-known names or relatively well-known names and people who should be well-known names, in my opinion. So if you're a creator out there who has anything to do with the gaming industry, and if you don't like the word industry, I just mean that to be the general blanket of people involved in the creation and running of games, and you'd like to be interviewed, do reach out. I can't promise you'll be, top of the list, because I already have an awful lot of expressions of interest, but I would like to give you a platform in order to be able to talk about the wonderful things you do. So, yeah, that's it. Yeah, so I'm excited with how that's gone so far, and I'm resisting the urge to click on YouTube Studio and have a look at how the numbers are getting on. I have a terrible habit of doing that. I really shouldn't do it. I should set myself limits of when I'm going to check how stuff's selling or how views are going on YouTube and the like. I will try not to do it, but it is nice to see when something does seem to get a little bit of momentum behind it. So I'm really pleased with that. And if you haven't checked it out yet, please do. Thank you, Ball GM, for your support in that regard. And if you like it, please like it, comment, share it on socials. You know, it's all good. It's all appreciated, especially as Twitter is a bin fire with an algorithm that is absolutely determined to stop people, smaller people, from sharing stuff unless they pay money, which I'm not going to do because Elon Musk is a dick. Simple as that. Okie doke, what else? Well, I'll be wrapping this up in a minute, and I'm probably going to... I say it's why I jot down a list of things that I want to talk about, or things I could talk about, depending how we're getting on with time. Stop slouching, Dave. Sort out your posture. There we go, that's better. The chair I've got has got a little inflatable thing in my lower back, which is really good. I need to use that more. I'm not doing anything obscene here, for the record. But it does help support my lower back, which definitely needs supporting. So I've kind of covered all the stuff I really wanted to talk about. And the last thing on here, I think, is something I will tease for a future one, because I think there's quite a lot of interesting stuff to say on this one. So what I'm going to be doing very, very soon, I hope, assuming by the time small child and all that ruins all plans, but my niece is currently at uni doing screenwriting, which is very, very cool. So we constantly talk about, TV and movies and, modern stuff and older stuff. And she's doing that thing that I did when I went to uni, which was you kind of get a list from people of what are the things that people reckon you should have seen, either because they're classics or, you just need the kind of pop culture references, or because they're genuinely fantastic, and often there's an intersection between the two. But one of the ones, she's a big horror fan, generally of the more, she likes kind of classic slashery type stuff, like the kind of Scream style stuff, and also quite a bit of the kind of supernaturally type horror ones. But one of the things she hasn't seen is any of the Alien films. Now, I didn't see any of the Alien films until I was in uni, actually. I knew a lot of people at school who'd seen them, but I never got around to seeing them. And then I made a point during the first year of uni to actually buy the box set and watch them. And I love them, absolutely love them, and I still love them. I think I have controversial views on the Alien films. Now, at the time, there were only 4 Alien films when I first watched them. So it was Alien, Aliens, Alien 3, Alien Resurrection. And then, for those who don't know, they then did 2 Alien vs. Predator films. They weren't particularly good. And then Ridley Scott came back and he did 2 Alien prequels, which are interesting. They are, the first one, Prometheus, it is an Alien prequel in that it's set canonically before Alien and sets up elements of it, but it's not the Alien prequel that people were expecting. But I think it's still a very good film. It's just not what people were expecting it, or maybe wanting it to be. They then did Alien Covenant, which I've only seen once, and I think I need to give it a rewatch because it got slammed by a lot of people, but I really enjoyed it. So I think I need to watch, I probably will watch Prometheus and then Alien Covenant again, so I can look at them again a few years later on what I think of them. But the main ones that I really want her to see are Alien, Aliens, and Alien 3. And I am including Alien 3 in that one because I think I'm part of a small camp here that really likes Alien 3. And I'll kind of briefly go through why. So when I watched the films for the first time, I got what was called the Alien Quadrilogy box set. I'm pretty sure quadrilogy isn't a word, but you know what it means. It's a trilogy of 4 parts. And the great thing about that release and subsequent releases is they did absolutely massive behind-the-scenes documentaries that went with each of them, like Lord of the Rings appendices size special features that take you through the whole journey of the creation of that film, from kind of from absolute inception of it and writing the script, to casting, to filming, to post-production, to music, to reaction. all the kind of retrospective stuff that you want to see. And each of those documentaries is a good few hours. They're really fascinating watches. And each of them is different for each of those films. But I think specifically the journey you see in each of the 3 films in terms of genre and in terms of that associated documentary is really what hooked me on that franchise. So Alien obviously is a sci-fi horror. It is a horror, definitely is. And it gives birth to so many of those tropes we see now. I mean, hell, it's got "Here Kitty Kitty" and the guy wanders off and gets attacked by an alien. You know, so many of those things that we take for granted as cliche and overdone horror tropes, they were initiated with Alien. And it's still an absolutely fantastic film that stands up incredibly well for the most part. There are a couple of bits that are slightly dodgy effects, but actually generally with the whole approach of what you don't see is scarier than what you do see, they do a masterful job. I mean, Ridley Scott, you know, he's made some wobbly films of late, but actually he did a bloody good job for that. And it was his second film. So that's really interesting. And the behind the scenes documentary talks about that journey of that first film from Dan O'Bannon and Ronnie Shusett writing it to trying to get it for Fox to kind of take it on. Fox who then rewrote the whole thing. Ridley Scott's storyboards, the cast they brought in, it becoming a smash hit unexpectedly, and audiences being terrified and revolted at the chestburster scene and all of that. So that is a fascinating documentary attached to an amazing film. And then Aliens comes along, which obviously Aliens is a sci-fi action film. It's not a horror anymore. There are horror elements to it, but it's an action film, or as Ridley Scott calls it, a combat movie. You know, it is set in the same world, literally in this case. It is a continuation of the characters, but it is a different genre of movie, and it's fantastic. Aliens is absolutely brilliant. I love it to bits, especially the extended cut, the extended special edition cut. I think is even better. It adds a good 45 minutes to it, and it doesn't slow it down. It actually just builds the tension more, so that when the shit hits the fan and it really kicks off, you know, you've earned that. It is an absolute roller coaster, and I would strongly recommend it if you've somehow not seen Aliens. It's well worth watching. And the behind the scenes is equally interesting. You talk about James Cameron having come off the Terminator, but basically being an unknown name in Hollywood, being brought on to originally write it, and then he's given the option to direct it. There are cast changes that go in during it, and the journey going through that with an amazing cast, and amazing performances. You know, Michael Biehn, Bill Paxton, Jeanette Goldstein, Lance Henriksen. You know, it's a fantastic cast. It really is, and an amazing documentary again. Which then brings us on to Alien 3, which I know a lot of people don't like because it is not Aliens again. You know, people love Aliens, and rightly so. I love Aliens. But Alien 3 is not a very similar film to Aliens. It is a continuation of the plot. They do kill off in the start of it some beloved characters from Aliens, which I don't like, but it works for the film. And a lot of people don't like it. There is, of course, the wasted potential of characters that come out of Aliens dying at the start of Alien 3. But I love Alien 3. I think it is absolutely fascinating. I think as a film, it goes back to more of the horror tropes. I think cinematically, the way it's been filmed is stunning. It really is. They talk about this in the documentary. A lot of Alien 3 takes place in a penal colony, and it's underground. And one of the things that is fascinating, which I don't think we think about anymore because so many films and TV shows do it already, is they, rather than having the camera up here and looking down on people, they have the camera down kind of below waist level looking up. Which creates a great sense of claustrophobia because you see the ceiling. You know, you feel very enclosed, very trapped. There's an action sequence where they're chasing they're not chasing the alien. They are being chased by the alien through tunnels. And the fact that you can see the ceiling of the set, makes it feel incredibly claustrophobic. And that wasn't done at the time. They used to have open roofs to set so they could hang the lights in. You never saw the ceiling because it was never there. Whereas actually they had to build the whole thing and hide the lights really well. So as a mood of it, it's incredibly claustrophobic, and the horror elements are back. There are religious themes in it because it involves convicts who are actually religious. So there's a whole, is this the devil who is chasing them and killing them off in this penal colony. But one of the things that makes it absolutely fascinating is it's the first film by David Fincher. Now, if you don't know who David Fincher is famous for films like Fight Club and Seven, The Game, Social Network. He is an absolute A-list director who is incredible at what he does. And that was his first film. He was brought on, he directed music videos before then, and the studio just tried to hammer him and mold him into this shape. They didn't want to give him any autonomy. So you're going to do this, you're going to do that, you can't do that, you can't do that, we're going to shut you down here, this is too expensive, you're not doing that. And the documentary behind this it's heartbreaking in places, because he's clearly got a vision. You see his future films. In fact, you see Alien 3 and go, oh my God, this man is a creative genius. He knows what he wants to achieve. He's got a very meticulous eye for filmmaking and performances. And the studio just wanted him to be essentially the person to shoot the script that they had written, and not to cause any waves, not to cause any disruption. So that documentary it's a different kind of roller coaster. It is taking you through this battle of this fledgling creative genius trying to make this film and being hampered at every turn by the studio. So that's brilliant. I mean, Alien Resurrection, it's an okay film. It's quite fun. The documentary is all right. But it's 1, 2, and 3. It's 1, 2, and 3 that I really, really love, and it's the ones I'm very excited to share with my niece in terms of the films. And I'll recommend that she watches those documentaries, because in terms of learning about filmmaking and the industry and the journey and all of that, they're brilliant. So if you have not checked out, I think most people will probably have seen Aliens, and Alien 3. But if you've not watched them recently, give them a rewatch. And if you can, watch versions that have got those special features, those 3 documentaries. They're on the DVD, Blu-ray releases. They're also on the iTunes releases, which is wonderful. But they are really interesting. Like I said, they're up there with the Lord of the Rings extended special edition appendices in terms of quality of behind the scenes. Absolutely fascinating stuff. That's me. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Apologies for the later start. Day job is as day job does. If you don't already follow me in places, you can find me on Twitter. I'm DC Bradshaw RPG. You can find me at Blue Sky. I'm at dcbradshaw.com. You can follow me here. I think you probably already do, but thank you so much. You could choose to subscribe here if you'd like to. If you've got a Amazon Prime subscription and you haven't used your Prime subscription to get a free subscription to a Twitch streamer, you could use it for me. That would be wonderful. It gives me a little bit of extra support each month, and you get access to the cool penguin pirate emoji, who is just adorable. There's no getting around that. He's just freaking cute. Thank you very much, Sleepiest Designs, for that. If you don't follow me on YouTube, please follow me on YouTube, youtube.com/@DCBradshaw, and please share that episode of Shought Thorts around. I really love what I've done with it, and I want to continue building the momentum there. Okie doke, that is me. Thank you, the Bold GM, for joining me. I hope you have a great day as well. I cannot see anyone streaming right now. Apparently it's a quiet day. Everyone's enjoying the sunshine, maybe, or everyone's just knackered. I don't know. But I hope you all have a wonderful day. My next stream is going to be Wednesday, lunch chat with games. I think we're going to play Stone Age. I've not played the app version of that. I love the board game version of it. And I think that should be a lot of fun. So I will see you then. Okay? Bye.